Hey guys. So last week I sort of spoke about how women forgot how to allow a man to love them, how to just allow a man to be a man, whatever that looks like, wherever they are in their journey. And I think I just want to take it back to basics, I guess, because there's such a divide when you say men, women, we do this, they do, this whole, us against them. Even if it's trying to get the groups back together and into harmony, there's still the focus is on separation. And I thought this week I'm just going to make the focus the unity. And the unity happens in love only. It does not happen in fear. It does not happen in the mind. So I think what I wanted to remind us all about is it starts with us. It starts with you. If you don't want to feel like you can't approach a woman, change that in you. Really change that in you. Is that something that's preoccupying you? Is that something you don't like? Change it. Do something. You do something. Don't wait for the world to change. Don't wait for women to suddenly be receptive. Change. I'm saying that with love, with softness. Look at yourself. Why do I want to approach a woman? Where is that coming from? What in me feels like I want to talk to this woman, but I can't? Why do you want to talk to this woman? What is that? Become curious. Like I said, women should be more curious about men again instead of defensive and scared. We have to start with us. I couldn't be curious about men. I wasn't curious about myself. I had no idea who I was. When you sort of soften and do the inner work and you get to know yourself again and you find parts of you that you've been unconsciously hiding for decades, and you befriend them again, you heal them, you pick them up, shower them in love. You reintegrate your whole being. It gives you the capacity to then do that with other people. I would not be able to be curious about others if I didn't first have that curiosity about myself, with myself. So I'm saying, if there's something bothering you in any part of life, with anything, instead of tightening up and thinking there is a problem, soften. Don't think, just soften, come into your heart, and just sit with whatever comes up. So really just sit with it curiously, not with fear. Don't be uncomfortable with it. Be curious and really have a look, and then ask yourself this question, like, why do I want to talk to this woman? Sometimes we find it's because of something that we don't really want to do. Like, I want validation. I feel lonely. I'm so lonely. And I just want someone to be there. Why? To validate me, to tell me I'm enough, to make me feel loved. And then when we know what the reason is behind it, we can then come back to ourselves and go, okay, well, let me first learn to love myself. Let me first learn to validate myself. Let me first find my self-worth. And then let me check, do I still want to go and approach this woman or women? And then why? And then when you look, and then you're like, I want to approach them because I just love them. Because I just want to know, like, who is that? I'm interested. I want to know who she is. Then you approach. And then you approach from a place of love. where you don't have to explain yourself, where you don't have to feel insecure about doing it. And then if she rejects you, or there is a reaction, a response different from what you wanted, you don't feel bad, because suddenly there is no more want. There's no more, I need her to respond in this way and I'll feel good. Suddenly you come from this space of freedom, of just giving, of just curiosity and love. Like, I'm interested. Who is this? She's so interesting. She caught my eye. Oh, wow. I'm going to go say hi. And then if she's all like, sorry, I got a boyfriend, or like, don't talk to me or whatever, then you're just like, oh, I'm sorry, no, didn't intend to, crowd you. And you walk away and nothing's lost. There's no sense of, women these days or whatever. Do you know what I mean? There is a softness, because you're not coming from a space of lack anymore, a space of, I'm not enough, I need love, I need someone, I need this person to do something for me. But you're coming from a place of, I'm whole, I'm loved, I'm worthy, I need nothing from anyone, I don't need validation, and I'm just curious. I want to connect. And I want to connect from a real level, from a pure space. And there the world can do whatever, and women can do whatever, and men can do whatever, and you're just okay. You're okay. And it's not something that happens overnight, obviously. This is something that takes real effort and time. And I know people who are along the path maybe longer, they will say like, Judy, there's no time. And like, it doesn't take any time at all. It's like that. But, like if you're not there, I'm not there, then it does take time. I've been doing it for years. And, sometimes something just needs to marinate for a long time. And then one day it's just like a snap and bam, you get it. Suddenly you just get it. But it's the only place to start. There, you can recognize what you've been doing. You can recognize what the people around you have been doing. You can recognize what the culture is doing. Like how there is this movement of women contracting and being scared and blaming men, needing to blame them so they don't have to look at themselves, because it's scary and we don't feel safe. I read somewhere that women live like prey animals. We're constantly scared. We're constantly having to scan our environment, whereas men, they're predators. They don't have to do that. There's this divide. And I think if you take that information on board, I guess where women have ended up is that we don't feel safe and protected by men anymore. But then because of that, we're just blaming them straight away instead of going like, well, why? What happened? Where's the dynamic here? What's, going on? And part of that, and I don't want to get into this at all because I don't really know, but part of this problem is probably the, feminist movement, where women have pushed so hard to be equal and to do what men do. Well, okay, now we're doing what men do and we're freaking out. We don't want to do it. Well, I don't. And we have to carry it all, but we're not built to carry it. We're not built to be switched on and in charge. And, it's just like, I don't want to do it. I want to be able to relax back, to be soft, to nurture, to provide in a different way, to provide love and safety in an emotional way. I can't do what a man does. I will never be able to. And I have no desire to do it. But I think this movement has pushed a lot of women to get to a point where they're like, that's it. I don't want to need a man. I'm going to do everything myself. And that's where the polarity is lost. And I think that's where women then tighten up and harden up so much that we get sick. physically, emotionally, mentally, everything. It's just not natural. I don't think it's natural for us. And I'm saying that not because I've read and studied this stuff. I'm saying it because of personal experience. For me, my body, I can't cope, I can, but I don't want to. I don't like it. My body doesn't like it. Anyway, so what I think is, yes, there are problems. Yes, there is a dynamic growing, especially in the West. Yes, it's just not working. We're losing the polarity, and there's a lot of emphasis on separation and just clashing and blaming, and that never works. You always have to just look at yourself. You need to go back to you. So for men who think, yes, thank you for speaking up. Women are harsher. It's becoming impossible for us to be, and to not be perfect. Think, how can I change that? Start with you. If we all had to do it, I had to do it, like women have stuff as well. Like I've had my stuff. And instead of blaming and changing the outside, I had to go in and change me. I was just done. I was like, I'm not living like this anymore. I can't do this anymore. And I just went in and you just got to rip up everything, every belief, every value, every thought process, and all these unconscious patterns and everything. You got to rip it all up. It's painful. It's time consuming, but it's the most, there's nothing in this life more worth it. Nothing. And not just worth it, but that's why we're here. That's why we are here. That's what we're meant to do. We're not meant to live here to work and enjoy our weekends and maybe go on a holiday and find, someone to fall in love with and get married and have children and then die one day. Like that cannot be our purpose, right? It's not big enough. It's not, and then your children do it. What? They're just going to, grow up, get your degree, start working, make money, buy a house, have children, get married, that whole thing. And then what? And then die. And then their children. That's it? Is that it? Is that all? Or is there more? And suffer through it. Not just, have the kids and do all of that, but actually suffer through it all. It's so funny. We actually do that. That's literally what we're doing. It's so sad. It's funny. So I think we need to look in, and it's not a heavy bad thing. We make it so heavy. We make it so we have to heal, we have to bear this weight, and just go through it. And no, it's not that heavy. Yeah, you'll cry and you'll, completely undo yourself and lose yourself and lie on the floor and cry and sob for hours. But it's beautiful. It doesn't have to be heavy still. It's a beautiful journey. So don't be scared and go inside and ask yourself the tough questions. And it's not going to be that easy. You're not going to be able to do it straight away, and you're not going to find your answers straight away because there's so much noise. So if you go inside and you're like, okay, so why do I want to go and talk to women? And it's bugging me because I cannot approach women anymore. They won't allow me to. It's impossible in this culture. Just to use that as an example again. And you ask yourself, why? Why can't I? Because you can, right? You're free. You could. But then, okay, I can't. Why? Because I expect what to happen, or what has happened to me. What did I experience? How did that make me feel? Find the reason behind it. And most likely the reason behind it will be something of will be something to fill a need, to fill an insecurity. Usually when we have a problem in life, it's hiding an insecurity. It's hiding a false belief, a negative belief that you're believing that you're holding. Like one of mine, for example, my whole life, I always needed to be with a man, needed to be in a relationship with a man because I thought the man had to provide for me in every way, including especially financially. I can't do it, I can't do it. I don't want to do it. I'm scared. And it sort of clouds your judgment, obviously. You make the wrong choices. You settle for, and you sort of settle in your fear instead of breaking out and examining why am I believing this? What's going on here? You just sort of, take that, you don't look at that fear and you just cover it with a man who makes money, and then I can just exist and do whatever I need to do, what I think I need to do. And never look at it. So when I started looking at it, it's the most terrifying thing. And at first you don't really understand what there is because there's so much to unpack, especially if you've held this belief for a very long time. It's very complicated. It seems very complex. There's a lot of stuff to sort of sift through to get to the bottom of it. And I'm finally at a point now where I can comfortably, without panic, look at myself and go like, you know what? I can take care of myself. I can build something myself. I can do it, and I will do it. And my focus now is on doing it myself, for my daughter, without the fear, from love, because I actually want to do something. Like I'm actually wanting to do this, and to get to that point it took years. And I couldn't do it alone either. Like it takes a bit of support and it takes a bit of pushing, and you've got to push yourself inward as well to really look. It's very uncomfortable. It's very uncomfortable and scary to look at your stuff, the real stuff, not the surface level stuff, the real stuff that really locks you in and scares you. But that's where your freedom lies. And that's where you are, the real you. That's where you unfold and become bigger, and bigger as in like a bigger heart, a more open heart than you could ever dream of. It's all behind fear. Move through your fear, whatever you're scared of right now. Maybe write it down, brainstorm. What are my fears? Where are my pain points? Write them down, and then try and have a look at that. Gently, slowly, over time, depending on how deep they are, how serious they are, how much trauma there is in it, behind it. It can be very confronting, and then just go at your pace. There's nothing that has to be done straight away. See what comes up and try to do it somatically. So try to do it within your body, as in you ask the questions or you write down whatever it is. And when you look at it, don't analyze it intellectually so much. Try and just feel what comes up inside your body. What am I feeling? Oh, like fear, like stay with your body in that fear instead of I'm scared because of this and that might happen. And like, oh, maybe I shouldn't think that way and blah, blah. Like there is a lot of that stuff happening, which just intensifies everything. At some point, it's good to understand. But what we're really bad at in today's society is to feel with our body, to just feel our feelings. That's the thing that we are mostly detached from and unable to do. Whereas we are really good at analyzing, conceptualizing, intellectualizing, doing all of that stuff. We're really good at that. So try to leave this out for now and just come back into the feeling of all of it, of existence even. So take the solution out of it. Like, I'm not trying to find a solution here right now. I'm just being curious about me, who I am, and my experience right now, basically. And then obviously, and the solution stuff you can still do, but the practice sort of, you want to see, can I calm down? Can I meditate? Can I ground myself? Can I stop? Can I pause life for a few minutes? And then can I ask myself the big questions? What am I scared of? Or if you have something that bothers you, like I feel like I can't approach women anymore, like it's impossible in this culture, in this environment, and it's really annoying me, it's really bugging me, ask yourself that question. So calm down, ground yourself, meditate, do whatever, then ask, why do I think I cannot approach women? And then don't intellectualize and don't think you have to solve anything. Feel what comes up. And wherever it is, throat, chest, belly, arms, tingling, and just anything, just feel into it. And just become curious. And yeah, go from there. I think that's the first step of finding your authentic self, figuring out who you are and why you are doing what you're doing. Because most of the stuff that drives us is unconscious. So you get back in touch with yourself to get to a point where you are so comfortable with who you are that you can do anything you want from love, with love, and it doesn't matter what happens in the world, and it doesn't matter what the external gives you, presents you with. You're good. You're fine. You got it. You don't need validation anymore. You don't need acceptance anymore. You don't need any of that stuff. And that doesn't mean you go without it, because there will still be validation. There will be acceptance. There will be a lot of love coming back to you. The more that you embody love and show up with love, the more the world will mirror it back to you. That's a given, right? That's going to happen. And apart from that, you're going to attract that people with that same energy as well. So you're not going to go without, but you're not going to go out needing, searching, clinging, being upset if it's not happening the way you want. Instead, you're going to attract the stuff, and it's just going to come into your life naturally. It's just going to flow. You're just going to be, because you're going to be softer and more open, and you're showing up with a higher vibration, with a higher energy, right? Your frequency is going to lift, because love has a higher frequency than fear. And you're going to just resonate with different stuff, and maybe you will say something like, I don't need to approach women anymore. Because then suddenly you'll also realize that, oh my God, I have all these people in my life. And they're gorgeous. I didn't even see them. I didn't even realize how wonderful they are. And then suddenly your attention shifts, and then suddenly women will come into your life naturally, easily, and you can relate with them because they're going to be maybe on your frequency now. So instead of you looking from fear and looking from I need to validation, you tend to be attracted to an energy that matches that. And that woman is going to be hard and closed off and not want anything to do with you, or just, you know what I mean. So what I had to do, and what I am still doing, is focusing inward, making sure that I show up in the world with an open heart, with a soft heart, with curiosity, with a welcoming energy, with an energy that wants to accept people for who they are, not change them and not need them to fit a certain mold to make me feel better, if that makes sense. Yeah. So focus on yourself. Leave the world alone. And let the world do whatever it does. Let women do whatever they do. Let men do whatever they do. You know? Men are toxic. Men are make us feel whatever. And, you know, us as women, we're scared because men are so toxic and men blah, blah, blah. Like, yes, I get it. But also, you know, the more you focus on that and talk about that, the more important you make that in your life, the more you're going to attract that sort of energy. Like you generate that energy, you put it out there, and it's going to come back at you. And you're going to your focus will be on that, you know. Your focus will be on the few men who maybe aren't good. And you're not focusing on the many men who are beautiful and who are healthy and who are giving and loving, because you're not on that frequency. So stop focusing on what's out there and blaming and whinging, and look at yourself and go, which part of me is whinging? Do I want to be like that? Is this who I am? Do I want to show up like that in the world? Is this what I want to contribute in this world? And just take a real hard look at yourself. And just find that beauty in you. It's in all of us. We all have this heart. We all have this endless capacity to love everything, everyone. We all have this capacity, all of us, to let go and just explode into love, where we just radiate love, space, acceptance, where people feel like, oh my God, in her presence, in his presence, I can exhale. I can be myself. I can actually bring my true self out. I don't have to hide. I don't have to pretend. I don't have to make myself small. I can be free. Be that space. Be that for the world. That's what the world needs. From men and from women. From all of us. From humans. You know, to become like little children. No judgment. No punishment. No labeling. No, you know, no needing anyone to be anything for you. Just allow everyone to be free and be curious and carefree and joyful like a child, you know? And that's how you get to, you know, the kingdom of heaven. That's how you get to your heart. That's how you live in the frequency of love. That's all. And it starts with stillness. Yes. So find a quiet spot, sit down, quiet yourself, and ask the big questions. And just feel what comes up. Don't think what comes up. Try and feel what comes up, and that's the first step. You keep doing that, you keep practicing that, and you'll notice that your whole world will change. Everything.